step up, EDG this time opting to also remove away that brand.
I'm amazed that RNG and EDG both are just very happy with their side of the map, obviously feeling that they have the advantage. Like you say, brand gone away from Jiejie. Leave loses that misfortune as well. I've got to say, misfortune ban was not on my bingo card this morning. That was not what I was anticipating coming into the patch, but here we go. Cryin grabs that Tristana once again.
Yeah, it does leave, leave Jax open from the previous draft, and Juice is just going to first pick that one immediately. EDG get their hands on that Tristana. Corki's obviously still up as well, but they know they don't have to pick it now if they don't want to. RNG have choice of a premier jungle that they would like to give. Jiejie, we mentioned how he's a very, bit of a solo queue superstar. Spoke about the Lee Sin, spoke about the Graves, but he will land on this Lilia, which should telegraph that Corki here for Tangyuan. Now EDG, will it just be AP jungle and top for themselves? They match out. Do they want an AD as well, right? Expect JJ's champion ball to be deep enough. Remember, no Fearless anymore. So, Karthus, Zyra, they're still options. They could, of course, both be banned the weight, but I'm sure he'll be able to look a little bit deeper and find something just a bit more creative if he wanted to, and he's not going to. So there's the Karthus and the Corki. It's all pretty telegraphed. The last first couple of rotations.
Pretty standard here. RNG even picking in order as well. Everyone picking their own champions, which is always nice to see. Let's see how they continue though, as we're looking towards the bottom lane. I feel like there's a serious argument here for trying to get rid of things like the Ziggs and the Kai'Sa potentially, with two AD carries in. AD carries is not really the right phrase, but AD damage threats in both top and mid lane for both teams.
Yeah, exactly. Utility as well. Could just see Ashen. I mean, it did give EDG, like, silently, we spoke about how Juice was obviously a very high impact on that Casante. Huanfeng, Deadly Flourishes, Curtain Calls, it set up for a lot of aggressiveness to come out from RNG on a positional level.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's something that EDG are, cognizant about, and whether or not they want to take that off the table too. Because I'm just not really feeling it to be a Leave champion in any capacity compared to some of the other carries he's far more willing to play, like the Kai'Sa as an example. Zai as well, I'll give a shout out too, because Leave did play a little bit of it last year during a stint on EDG, and it did get buffed on this patch, and there's a moderate amount of dive in, and it would fit that hyper carry sort of, position to deal with some of that dive. But RNG haven't fully rounded out their comp just yet, as the Alistar is moved away from I1D, so they don't want Alistar to be in the game either.
They certainly don't. Can't really blame them. It's been rising in priority, hasn't it, across the course of the LPL, and we saw what I1D can do with it, disrupting a lot in those team fights in the previous game. Let's see where RNG go next, though. Support wouldn't be too surprising to see locked in. I mean, Nautilus has been available this entire series and has just been kind of ignored.
Yeah, it's a bit of a head scratcher, isn't it?
He's not been nerfed. I know we're on a new patch and that, but he's not been nerfed or anything.
He's not been directly touched at all. So maybe, Sod's Law, you've said it, we end up with it. This would be fun, but I don't think we're going to see it. Varus had a very long list of adjustments on this patch. And frankly, I'm not sure what my mind is made up on in terms of how it's landed. It felt as though the intent, I suppose, was to kind of push it away from lethality. So we'll see what Leave comes out with. And no, we're not going to get any Nautilus in this opening series. It's not been banned. It's not been picked.
Yeah, weird one.
Am I dreaming? Like, someone pinch me. Either way, you did mention the Ziggs, right? And the option for EDG to remove that away. They opted in for the Alistar. And I mean, not being funny, sleep combo into middle of ultimate from Ziggs.
Yeah.
I don't think you get to play the game. Like, it's pretty rough. So I like this from RNG. A lot of side lane pressure, a lot of tower damage as well, if they can actually allow Huanfeng a little bit of access. So Grubs, I think, would also be a nice additive to that, considering they have the Jax to side lane on top of it. So RNG, I think, have a very functional comp. They're going to have to wait a little bit for items to come online, and I wonder what that means for EDG's early game in terms of where they're actually going to look to put down pressure, right? Varus is still a very strong laner. They're going to have that going for them. It's just about dealing with the wave clear that Huanfeng has in those early stages, and then being able to build off of that, try and find an objective lead, and deny some of those objectives away from the side of RNG.
one of the big issues you can have as Varus is while you're charging your Q, you slow yourself. You can set up for Ziggs to land that poke very easily, but also your whole MO of being able to one-shot the wave and move away, Ziggs kind of just does it a little bit better than you do. So we'll see how the matchup's going to go for Leave. Certainly a bit more of a comfortable champion for him. Some highs and some lows across this series for Leave. But the lows have been devastating. The lows have been moments where RNG could really capitalize. So we'll see how he performs now on a pick that he's a little bit more comfortable on, that he's a little bit more used to. We'll have to see what EDG can do. EDG have been in the driver's seat for most of this series, but in the very late game, RNG managing to turn things around in game number 2. Let's see if they can repeat that performance. It would be a massive upset to start the second stage of the tournament, the Rumble stage, the Nirvana group down in the bottom side. Let's see if RNG can do the impossible and start with a series win for themselves after 2 substitutions starting the day. This would be insane, but I mean, it would just fit perfectly, wouldn't it, for the LPL?
It'd be a serious dose of whiplash as well for RNG. 1 and 5 in those placements. And it felt like, in many ways, barely scraping out that series win as well. Just by nature of, they've already 0-5 by the time they got that win. Let's see if they can turn that fate around.
Baited a little bit there. They did the whole intro thing and then went back to player shots.
I know. Okay. Far more organized and energetic compared to game 1. Or game 2, rather. So if the first game put them a little bit to sleep, and somehow that second game managed to wake them up, let's hope that Jiejie doesn't Lil Wing Lullaby everyone in the crowd and put them back to sleep.
Come on, this isn't TSM we're talking about here. He only has the ability to sleep 5 people here. Do you know, I think that's one of those things that is just never going to be forgotten. I think that moment will live on in eternity in League of Legends. We'll see how this one's going to go down, though. Like you said, a lot of side lane pressure for RNG. This is sort of what they had in game number 1. They had quite a bit of side lane pressure there, but obviously the ability to make picks with that Twisted Fate. Juice going to be on the Jax this time around. And Juice has been a player that we've seen some decent carry performances. To some extent, he's mostly been on frontline, but we've seen a little bit of the Rumble come through, seen a little bit of the Twisted Fate coming through, and it's looked decent from him. Now on the Jax, we'll see what he can bring to the stage.
Yeah, we'll see what he can bring to the stage. A lot of early priority here already, as to be expected. Jax is just such a strong level 1 laner. And I just want to call out that invade from Jiejie. Really smart. No coverage of wards from EDG placed to catch that invade from Jiejie. And he kind of does the inverse of the Solokill invade. A lot of the time you'll see junglers that can kill Raptors really quickly go Raptors into the enemy blue buff. Just because the path in is so quick and efficient and you can catch off the enemy jungler on Gromp. He does the inverse. Starts his blue, goes over to the Raptors, takes them away, and it just disrupts Jiejie's farming pattern. Gets the camp effectively for free, and it's just going to keep him a little bit further away from level 4 for a little bit longer.
Nice little bit of play from Jiejie, a player that we're keeping our eyes on. For anyone just tuning in, this is his first series. Cryin is in trouble. Tangyuan forces the rocket jump out. Wasn't sure if we were going to get flash for flash there. And we are going to get flash for flash as Tangyuan tries to find the angle. Obviously, Cryin ready for that potential scenario. And it will just be Tangyuan forcing the wave in. Cryin will stick around to grab these last couple of minions. And then we'll likely see a TP from both of our mid laners here.
Yeah, Tangyuan decides that his flash is worth less than Cryan's. Goes in, gets that flash for flash, and we'll see whether or not either of these junglers, right, will be able to punish the summoner spellless mid laners once they do inevitably teleport back in. But they're holding out. They don't want to be the first to base. Tangyuan's got a lot of prio though, a lot more of a stronger early push, and he will look for that reset now. As both these junglers opposite sides, EDG. I don't think a dive is really a possibility with this kind of setup, unless Huanfeng and I1 were a lot more chunked out than they are. So they should be safe, and it will just end up kind of being a bit of a neutral map state.
Yeah, not too surprising for this early on into the game. I will say, good start from Tangyuan is actually 10 CS up in the mid lane. Cryin has already TP'd back in. Tangyuan I think we'll now finally go for a reset. I think there are a few minions there for Cryin still to sweep up, so it won't be too big of a CS lead by the end of it, but I'll have to wait and see. I'd love for the observers to pan back to that mid lane and take a look, but either way, all very good off of that first trade for Tangyuan. Grabs himself a cult, gets the tier as well, so minor advantage there off of the early trading.
Understands that he's going to be scaling for a fair bit of this early laning phase, but winning out so heavily in the trades, as is. And that's just kind of the power of new Corki. Right? Such a strong lane bully in many ways.
Do you know, it's kind of new Corki, isn't it? But realistically, it's old Corki. It's old Corki.
As the sayings go, the more things change.
The more they change them back to the way that they were.
Exactly. But it is nice to see that, like, I definitely prefer this version of Corki over Poke Corki, and I don't know, if you prefer Poke Corki, then, you know, power to you. You're wrong, but, you know, everyone can have their own opinion. Such is the world. So, we'll see what damage Tangyuan can get out. Corki, all in all, throughout this series has been absolutely spectacular in terms of what it's been able to put out for these two teams, respectively. As a Jiejie looking for a mid lane play. Knows that ward's there, though. We'll just opt to clear it, rocket jump out, and again, it's just the strength of Tristana. So much safety, but both these junglers angling up for the grubs. Solokill's basing, though. He will, of course, teleport back, but that wave will likely be shoved out by Juice very, very quickly to try and make sure they've got numbers. So I think the grubs are looking okay for RNG for the 3v3. The problem is Winx made his rotation up here way sooner than Iwandi has.
Solokill gets out of dodge, but with Juice shoving this wave in very efficiently means that he can move over towards these grubs. Jiejie will get the first one. Don't know if Juice moving in will be able to sway the tide for the side of RNG. EDG trying to group as a 4, and Juice ends up being their target, but RNG in the meantime just turned back onto the grubs. Moving in now as it's a smite out from Jiejie. Both in fact, Jiejie's smite is available, so that should be 2 for the side of EDG. And now the fight, Iwandi finds the knockup, but it's buffed for Juice, dives in onto Wink, but Wink's still surviving, pulls him into the plane, gets the knockup. The counter-strike was valuable, but not quite enough. Cryin with a T1 emote in the middle of the fight as he looks for Jiejie as well, who's stuck in the mix, gets a bit of damage down. The 5v5 out of nowhere, and EDG come out on top.
The damage just isn't there for RNG right now, and EDG take full advantage of that. Find 2 kills off the back of the exchange, get 2 grubs as well. Really good stuff from EDG, and it's just that first move from Wink, leave, forced to flash out from the knockup from Iwandi. Otherwise, he too could have very easily lost his life without that ultimate, which he only now just got. So, EDG do suffer at least a small loss inside of Leave Summoner spell, but still, 2 kills, 1 onto the Tristana for Cryin. It's going to feel really damn good as you get a look at the play. And like you say, you know, Juice, a fair bit of value out of the Counter-Strike, but the problem still lies in RNG just don't really have the damage to burst through anyone, and Wink's flash as well just gets him out of dodge, make sure that there's no follow-up anywhere else. And eventually, it's just a bit of a separation from RNG. And again, Tangyuan and Iwandi as a duo just don't have the CC and the damage combo just yet. They need those items to come in.
Cryin showing his colours as a big fan of Faker there in the mid lane with the T1 emote off of the first blood. 1-0 and 1 now on that Tristana after a really, really rough start to the game. Tangyuan winning those early trades. It is now Cryin that's massively ahead. You can see a big lead in the bot lane for Leave as well. Things looking good for EDG, which has been the case in all 3 games now to start off. It's just how things continue and whether or not EDG can actually leverage these leads. That's where we've seen the team struggling to continue to find impact. I want to quickly point out as well, Leave actually go for the on-hit virus build here, so it won't be the lethality. We'll be looking to be the one to break through a front line, although not exactly the biggest front line on the side of RNG.
No, not necessarily. I think this is, you know, one of those games where probably as that virus you wouldn't have minded being poke at all. But again, plethora of changes, number-wise, to Varus's passive, his W, his base stats. I think, for the most part, have shifted him out of that lethality play pattern. Though it's probably still playable. I just haven't tested out everything myself, personally. And we've not actually seen any 14-13 gameplay.
No.
you know, in a major region, it's the first day and we'll be seeing it. So still testing out, ironing out some of those kinks in terms of where that pick will lie in terms of its build paths.
And I mean, on the patch notes, they did say that the goal was to make both versions of the build a little more viable. Dive at the top side, and they make it look easy. Jiejie setting that one up, and Juice grabs the kill. That's exactly where you want that gold, and look at this. With the grub on top, Juice will be able to grab himself a second plate as well.
Yep, good plate. And RNG just setting up a win condition, right, in this mid-game. Juice is going to be pivotal to providing pressure that EDG are going to have to find an answer for. You would anticipate that Cryin should be that answer, right? Tristana on a side lane, wave clear's good. Jax should struggle to outright kill the Tristana in the sense of how much safety she has, right? But if he ever remains on top of her for too long, certainly Cryin will find himself in a lot of trouble. But yeah, this dive, so easy. A lot of burst damage between the two there. Once Solokill's asleep, there's not much you can really do about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if Pathmaker was on cooldown. I assume you can do that onto the Lily asleep. I'm not a big Cassante player myself, but I don't know.
I feel like the sleep would interrupt the channel, so yeah. Either way, I don't think it gets him out. I think he would probably still die.
He probably
Though
still
that damage
dies
reduction
anyway.
at the start, you never know. And we'll never know, because he didn't do it. So
I just see Cassante in a dive situation and assume that he gets 2 kills. Like, that's my experience of this champion. Nice little combo of the stun into root. And Solokill gets a bit of revenge for what we just saw on the top side. Aleve gets a bit of time on the tower as well. 5 grubs for EDG. They will melt that tower. Cryin. Oh boy, this is a dangerous place to be. Buster shot available, flash available. Cryan's going to look for his way out. Will survive.
Yeah, with Jiejie making his way down here as well. It's just very, very, very spooky. 2-man, he could think about making an outplay. 3 people with that Lilia, certainly not, especially as the Lilting Lullaby comes online. Teleport from Solokill just to help defend. Ultimate to clear out.
Ooh, it's not enough.
Some of that wave, but it's not enough.
Oh, hang on, TP in the mid lane.
Jiejie.
Charm comes on through, stun to follow it up. I mean, these kills are so one-sided on both sides here. Great bit of map play out from RNG to punish Jiejie trying to clear in the mid lane.
Yeah, just trying to make do with what they can with this map state, right? RNG, they postured for a bot play onto Cryin. Cryin didn't bite, didn't give him it. Goes towards the mid lane, they find Jiejie, get a kill, get another plate. And they are just trying to trade, but EDG are still out ahead for now.
Oh,
as
Cryin.
I say that, Cryin.
No Buster shot now, has the flash. No minions here. Tangyuan tanking, no I1D tanking. And gets himself out of dodge. Cryin goes down, finishes off that Kraken Slayer, but still another kill for EDG. Much faster pace in this one, which I am all aboard for. Juice is just sort of on the wrong side of the map. Not ideal for him, and that's going to be a kill into the pocket of Jiejie. Not a great target to be given a kill over to either.
No, I was going to ask how did he get there, but then I took a look at Leave, and I saw he has no flash and no cleanse, and he's walking out of base. So I have a sneaking suspicion, whilst this play was going on from RNG, Juice did some juicing. Probably found himself a solo kill up there. I'm sure the observers will give us a picture-in-picture or a full-blown replay of that, and it's on timing, really, isn't it? Let's see. Does Leave stop his base? He does, because Juice walks in, sees him on the ward, and it's just a long chase down.
It just, yeah, keeps going. Actually, somehow gets the stun.
Yeah, hitbox, a little bit deceptive there. Counter-Strike like clips his leg.
I mean, you've been outplayed there, haven't you, really? I1D has also been outplayed. Lots of ability for counterplay here in League of Legends today, as EDG managed to get an answer. This has been more kills than the previous games. I'm not sure it's been any cleaner from either team. This is getting messier as the series goes on.
It's a strange game, because all of the kills are basically happening in like cross-map fashion, which I complain about that a lot, actually. You know, like I feel like the art of the cross-map has died in recent years, Joe. Feels like philosophically the teams just aren't mentally there for it right now, you know. But this game has just been nothing but cross-maps, right? Teams trying to etch out some gold from either side of the map, and you know, individuals trying to squeeze out whatever they can on some of these weak side plays.
Scruffy just absolutely livid about the cross-map play going on here. Yeah, he's not.
Yeah,
not.
he's not happy at all.
Scruffy was a big enjoyer of good cross-map play back in the day. I'd say back in the day, like literally, what, like 2 years ago? If that. But yeah, it's been a bit of a weird one. Now EDG want to continue the way it's been going as they look towards the Drake. Juice will retreat in the bottom side, so I don't think they'll see an angle to dive there. Bomb comes in from Huanfeng, but will be a little bit early. Was blind in his defense, so not too surprised to see that one. Cloud Soul on the cards.
I don't think I've been less excited to see a Cloud Soul in a very long time. And I'm one of the Cloud Soul guys, man. I'll shield that till I die.
Hey, Rakan can use it.
Rakan can use it, but you know, I agree. Yeah, see, buddy, I agree. It's a boring soul this game, I fear. Second charge will come out. How much trouble is Jiejie in for taking this charge?
Well, he's been charmed immediately, knocked up immediately, but the rest of the gang is on board. Wink protects his jungler, and they will get away with it. Was it worth it just to chunk a tower? I'm not so sure. Depends if they get out scot-free, I suppose. Huanfeng trying to threaten in the mid lane, and will get the tier 1 for his trouble. So, all things considered, it's a tier 1 for a tier 1 at the end of the day.
Yeah, but you just have to feel, you know, the mid lane tier 1 is always more valuable in these kind of exchanges, right? Being able to catch a wave high up in the middle of the lane. I always feel like a broken record when I explain this, but it's such a core fundamental. If you can catch waves high up, just saving those couple of seconds, right, really does make the difference in being able to find that setup. Onto a side lane, onto an objective, and then just making the game really awkward. You suffocate out your enemy just by virtue of being able to get that wave just a little bit quicker. So RNG have that to work with, and EDG are going to have to do their due diligence in defending this area of the map now to ensure that people can catch that wave very, very safely, and try not to get suffocated out on that vision side of things.
So Juice going to continue to spar with Solokill, but Solokill has reinforcements coming in. Juice going to be caught out of position now. Solokill trying to set this one up. Q3 dodge. Juice, though, doesn't have anywhere to go. Flash on cooldown. The bomb is not quite enough. Oh, but the Requiem is. We always forget about the Requiem. And that's another for Jiejie. That's more Dark Harvest.
Iwandi almost made it with basically every button press he could have, if you think about it. Heal, the shield, of course, from the Locket. But a lot invested, I will say, to kill Juice, but there's not really an objective on the map. I wonder will get chunked out for another 2.5 minutes. So a pick is a pick. RNG, though, do get a huge, huge bite out of this tier 2. But Solokill gets a bigger one out of the bot tier 2, takes it for himself. So that's a lot of gold to be injected into his back pocket.
Oh, Jiejie flashes to smite Jiejie here. Revenge for the end of the previous game. Jiejie burning down and will fall. Jiejie gets another Dark Harvest, continues to stack up that pile of gold in his pocket. Jiejie is off to the races on this Karthus.
Yes, he is. Level 11. A lot of gold waiting to be used. He's leave. Just gets a bit of damage out onto Iwandi there. Even finds the second arrow after the fact. So Iwandi going to look for a reset soon. Still got some walls to place down though before he resets, so I anticipate he'll look for that very, very shortly. But again, as we mentioned, Jiejie goes towards that Blackfire Torch this time around, and we'll be looking for that double dot burn build with the Leandries. So a lot of upfront damage, especially against some of those higher HP targets, and a lot of members of this RNG side building HP, especially with the Triforce user being in the mid lane as well. So we'll feel alright. I do say though, I feel like this double burn build does delay things like Death Cap, your Void Staff item. It has its own set of pros and cons. It will deal a lot of upfront damage on completion, Tangyuan.
Another mid lane 1v1 here. Cryin buster shots as Jiejie arrives. Tangyuan suddenly realizes this ain't the 1v1 that he was bargaining for. Massive wave of minions that Tangyuan is going to miss a couple of off the back of just trying to brute force that one. Cryin gets out with his life and does should be able to get back before the objective comes up. It's 50 seconds until that next Drake, and you know EDG would love to keep stacking them.
Yeah, getting that one step closer. How are we gonna? That's the real question is: are we gonna see 3 games in a row where Elders are the deciding factor, because I mean, at the pace we've been going, man, you know,
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news or anything, guys.
If I'm RNG right now, I want EDG to get the next 2 Drakes so that we can get to Elder faster. Like, that's the win condition here. That's the way that we get ourselves into this one. My goodness, I1D won't be able to dash himself out. He is playing that Rakan. Do you know, watching Rakan players in the LPL is always a bit of an adventure, isn't it? They always look like they might be in trouble, and sometimes they are, but most of the time they seem to scoot out to safety. Oh, denial onto Juice, but Wink, that's his Magnet Storm. That's a big old cooldown right as Drake spawns onto the map. Solokill chunked as well. This should be RNG looking towards Drake for themselves.
Ooh.
Bomb onto Jiejie as well. That's surely Drake secured.
Yeah, they've got that in the bag. I mean, you are very jestfully asking the question whether or not RNG would happily just give it over and say, you know what, spawn Elder in sooner. It's a bigger win condition for us. But they do pick up this dragon, a lot of poke damage coming down, and I mean, even that position as a whole, Jiejie full passive stacked, he was running in as if he was going to flash, get a Q off and get a massive ult in, so either way that was just a winning situation for RNG. I think that was probably the better of the bad scenarios for EDG, to be frank. But that dragon goes over, and now it's just Baron on the map and lane assignments, side lane threats and push. And I fear, Joe, we're going back to that good old lane state, or a map state of ping pong for a little while.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a theme, hasn't it, today?
Yeah.
Hopefully, second series will book that trend. If you didn't see the schedule earlier on, AL versus FPX later on today after this series, it will be the first series we get from the Ascend group, the first series of the upper group of this Rumble stage, and 2 teams that look to be potential Worlds contenders if they can either maintain or upgrade performances that we've seen so far. Yet to see them against each other this split. That'll be an exciting one, so keep your eyes peeled for that later on. But for now, RNG trying to contest the vision that EDG have set up around Baron.
Yeah, exactly. Focus on this game, because I feel that fight around the Baron is going to be very, very intense. As intense. Ultimates exchanged.
It's level 6 versus level 6, or the ults versus ults anyway. Bomb comes in, blocks a bit of damage. Cryin trying to finish the job as well, but won't be able to get it. So many TPs into these 1v1s across this series. But both Juice and Solokill surviving. Grandmaster's Might versus the All Out. I don't even know which ult is more OP, honestly. I'm not sure how that 1v1 ends.
I mean, yeah. You'd feel with Solokill having the items he does that Juice should lose, right? Until that second item comes in, then maybe it starts to even the odds. But frankly, they were both getting pretty low, man.
Yeah.
Health bars are kind of identical.
All I'm saying is Cryin TP'd in, Tangyuan didn't. Not that Tangyuan even had the option, but
yeah,
I don't know how confident EDG were that Solokill was definitely winning that one. Yeah, a bit tense in the side lanes. We've had a lot of side lane picks in this series. Like, I feel that's been a theme across this series. People either getting caught out in the side lane or trying to make a play and it going a little bit sideways. And so many of these big objectives are like, I'm not sure we've seen a single proper 5v5 team fight in this series, aside from over those first grubs earlier on in this game. But like late game, we've really never saw any proper team fights because it was all about these picks. It was all about one person misstepping and then the objectives off the back of that and grouped up snowball fights off the back of that as well.
Yeah. This game, a lot different in pace to some of the previous engagements that we've seen throughout the evening. What exactly are they going to give us in the next couple of minutes? Because Wink and I1D, they certainly seem to want to fight. It's Tangyuan.
Another 1v1 in the side lane, but this time Requiem gets involved. Tangyuan, it wasn't a fair fight. Poor guy goes down. That's a kill for Cryin and potentially Baron now for EDG. RNG have to answer, but Juice is down in the bottom lane. TP is up for him should he want to rejoin this play. Jiejie perhaps could go for a flash smite. He's got full vision, and the DPS has just continued the whole time. He walks in, but he can't get the smite, and Jiejie will fall. EDG, they get the Baron. What else can they find? Great cleanse out from Leave on the single frame that the stun came through. EDG, a Baron. 5 remaining players and 3 kills. They couldn't have asked for more.
They really couldn't have, and now let's see what they can actually do with it, right? Tier 2 in the mid and top side still up. Tier 1 still available in mid lane. Expect that one to fall for sure. If they can find a good siege. Let's get a look at this play and see how it all unfolded, because it started with Tangyuan up here, but then it's about what's going on over here. Sleep kind of used for very little. No combo used between the jungler and AD, so he doesn't have that available now as the rest of the skirmish unfolds. I mean, the smite is pretty damn close. Q, I mean, just a frame short.
Yeah.
Jiejie, very unfortunate, but it's a good attempt by EDG. With the advantage they have, just push out so many members. Could have had more, really, if RNG are willing to commit.
I wonder if the ult from Jiejie there was like a panicked attempt at stopping Requiem from Jiejie and letting Tangyuan win the 1v1 top. It was like
very well
pretty late if it was, but that's the only angle I can really see, aside from maybe setting up for a bomb from Huanfeng, perhaps. But either way, Baron was taken. Look where Tangyuan is right now. He really wants to make something happen on the map right now. He wants to stop the siege that's coming on through. Swirl Seed can't deny the recall, so Tangyuan will have to back away as Cryin continues to try and push this, but knows that's not a 1v1 that he wants right now.
No, definitely isn't. EDG gonna get this dragon for now, just as they're waiting between waves. A minute left. Cracked open the mid lane towers, but they'd really love to put a dent in the base if they could help it. Resets are coming out now, though. And it does make you think that you're not really going to be able to achieve too much in the next 50 seconds or so. So it could just be a transitional Baron, just to pick up those towers, extend the gold lead a little bit in their favor. And they look to reset the map with some of that gold lead that they did attain. Jiejie is really close to his death cap. I think it's very important to note, because there's not really a whole bunch of magic resist on the side of RNG right now.
I mean,
so once he does hit that spike, it's gonna be real big.
It's gonna be brutal, and I feel like he's just been chilling this game. Like, just stayed even in CS. He's picked up a few kills on these weird side lane shenanigan-esque plays, and he's just been Carthus slowly scaling up, like you say, about to hit that death cap, which is a terrifying moment for RNG. Jiejie is well on the way to an MVP in this one, and I mean, easily done with the way that this game has been happening. He's kind of been cruising towards it.
Yeah, he has. Expect the next reset or two. Certainly the next one he'll have it. I think those pings are for him. He's pinging, I want the Raptor camp. Give it to me. Be one step closer. A huge spike, and just not one that right now RNG are necessarily prepared to deal with, I think. Especially once level 16 comes in online as well. Don't forget just that additional step of damage. Engage here.
Wink starts it off. Jiejie is here as well, and Juice feeling the wrath of exactly that. The Skittles landing. I feel like I can't really call them Skittles anymore. They don't look anything like Skittles anymore, but they're still Skittles in my heart. Jiejie grabs himself a wolf. A little bonus prize on that one. Oh, TP in the top side. Double TP in the top side. Tangyuan has his own TP. Can he get out here? Requiem comes on through. Okay, Tangyuan doesn't even try to TP. Realizes there's no way out of this one.
Just hides in the bush. But he's not Faker, unfortunately. I don't think Faker can get out of that one either.
Yeah, he was in it, not on it, you know.
Yeah.
Subtle difference, but it's important.
Got me there. But it's a good pick from EDG. It does cost them 2 teleports, though, but it removes Tangyuan off the map, and I guess they can get a little bit of pressure down. Jiejie is down here just to support this push from Juice, but he's half HP. I don't know. It's a bit of a... No. They'll get a chunk, at least, which is very good. Demolish is a great rune. Can they get a chase down,
They might go down
EDG?
for this, honestly. Q3 hits onto Juice.
Yeah.
Oh, God. This was so over the top. Counter-Strike comes out. There's a bit of healing there for Juice as well, as Wink looks to try and find that stun. Leap strike. RNG, the whole gang desperately try to get out together. Juice gets another leap strike, and will get himself to safety. That felt a little dicier than realistically it needed to.
Yep, I definitely agree with you. Get away with a little bit of daylight robbery. Well, don't we all sometimes? RNG. Get that chunk in it. Just makes it a little...
Do we?
It just makes it a little... Well...
Is that a confession? That's live on the internet now.
Yeah, hey man. Who cares about digital footprint or whatever the hell that term means? It's a bunch of mumbo jumbo. RNG. Juice will have an easier time getting that tower. And yeah, it's just more standing gold for him to pick up, right? Later on.
Yeah.
Hopefully he can for himself.
Hopefully.
EDG, they're taking control of this top side though, right? With all that said, Juice just wants to try and make things a little bit awkward for EDG and think about that side lane push. But, you know, we spoke about how that could be a win condition for RNG. It just really hasn't been so far. And we're kind of passing that window where you get to sit on that side lane for, you know, an extended period of time. Too, you're going to have to start joining a team sooner rather than later. Just the nature of League of Legends these days as Baron started.
Yeah, would you look at that? Baron comes on the map and EDG started within 3 seconds again. I think that's the 19th time this series. Baron taken... the combo was the wrong way round between the sleep and the bomb. And it means no significant threat there. Juice does finish off the tier 2 in the bottom side as Iwandi looks for an engage on Solokill here. Big damage out from Tangyuan as well. And it will be the tier 2 mid lane as well. So RNG at least gets something. 2 towers, 2 inner towers in trade for the Baron.
Not bad for RNG. I mean, hell, they have effectively kind of neutralized the Baron gold, right? With this little sequence here. Dragon's up in 10 seconds. And of course, that is soul for EDG, right? Let's not undersell. I very jokingly said, I wish it was a different soul, and I still do. But movement speed's one of those unquantifiable kind of stats in terms of usefulness until it's not.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it'll help Jiejie get in range for his Requiems. You know.
Yeah.
In all seriousness, though,
you got another one for me?
Wink especially will get value out of that. But also Cryin and Solokill, who are consistently pushing pretty deep in the side lanes. Helps them potentially get out of those shenanigans, kind of like we saw with Juice and Jiejie and Iwandi trying to escape on the bottom side a few minutes ago. Plus, it's a cool little logo, huh?
Yeah, it's probably got the most drip out of any you know, out of any of those little logo buffs you get underneath.
Official soul drip check. EDG have passed.
You've heard of crep checks if you're from London.
I have not, and I am not. I'm not cool enough for this conversation.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
EDG are though. Is the
yes.
Crypt check the bot? I don't know where.
No, not crypt. Don't say crypt check.
You just said that.
Crypt
didn't
check.
you?
No, crypt. Anyway.
Okay. Anyway, moving on. Wink gets himself out. EDG, I mean, they got a tower. That's nice for them, isn't it?
Yeah. They get the inhib, and they're gonna just shift over here. They've got 45 seconds left of this Baron. But there is a Ziggs for wave clear. Requiem's gonna come down. You know, damage is damage.
You're not wrong.
Complain, but it's not gonna force RNG back.
That is the analysis you're tuning
exactly.
for.
That's why they bring in the big guns. All right. Anyway, we joke and jest because this has been a very slow game. It's been a slow series so far.
It has. Oh.
But as I say that,
Iwandi makes short work of that fact as he walks into the enemy team and dies. Cryin takes a good chunk from Huanfeng, but I don't think it's going to make much difference. This may well be 3 inhibitors now for EDG. As Jiejie trying to get some work done, but it's gone a little bit too deep for this one. And one more auto, no, Q3 from Solokill finishes the job in the end. Tower shot, not quite enough. And he will now run away with the Cloud Soul move speed.
Ah, there you go. He's so fast. Look at him go.
If only Jin was in this game.
Oh man, Jin loves a good Cloud Soul, man. It's so strange that he does. You won't see than that. EDG though, they're in a very good position to close out this game, close out this series. And Iwandi, I mean, cast the curse, I guess, but he does want to make short work of the remainder of this series, supposedly, by his pathing here. And Solokill's WE into Q3 here was spectacular to find. Jiejie snipes it.
Yeah.
Underneath the tower, flashes out.
Solokill's Casantes looked really good in this game. He's had some really good moments. It's maybe MVP performance, dare I say. He's had a few good moments across this one. Jiejie still the leader for me in terms of the impact he's been able to have on those side lane engages. But often Solokill being the one to kind of bait people into that so that Jiejie can finish off with the Requiem as well. And again, EDG, despite the advantages that they've got, playing it slow, not wanting to overstep. They daren't over-push anything here. Cryin gets a few hits on the inhib as the supers are stacking up in the bot lane. The siege continues. The seemingly never-ending siege, yeah.
In another 40-minute game, sleep onto Cryin, but he's
okay,
jumped away.
Huanfeng's bomb?
No.
Huanfeng? Didn't go for the bomb. Requiem now across the team as Juice dives into the backside. EDG still alive for the time being. Juice just about gets out with his life, as does Solokill. And it's half time. The players walk off of the pitch. They're going to go for a little break for themselves. And we'll come back in 30 minutes, I guess.
I kind of want to give Huanfeng a yellow card. When are we...
Yeah.
When are we going to see a bomb on top of the sleep?
It was up.
Yeah.
Wait,
it was
it up?
I'm pretty sure it was.
Maybe I'm going crazy.
Nah, it had to have been up. I mean, he did use it in the fight, so unless it was quite literally off cooldown for a second. It's a strange thing. We haven't seen that combination happen yet. Because it is so powerful. Don't forget, of course, if you get broken out of sleep by that damage source, you take a huge chunk of true damage too. Scaled off of what you're being damaged by. And yeah, RNG haven't utilized it. They don't lose that mid lane inhibitor though, Joe, and they've got 1 minute until their bot lane inhib spawns up. But small problem. This guy's gonna die. And then I fear that the other big guy that spawns in 40 seconds is also gonna die.
But this is what we said last game.
Yeah, that is...
So, last time around, in Game 2, RNG were in a very, very similar position to this. And then Elder came up, they found a pick in mid lane, turned it into Elder, turned it into the game. EDG have to not get out of position, not get caught. All they have to do is play it slow and use this Baron buff, and the game is in their hands. All they have to do is just not make that crucial mistake.
We may joke, but the game is still, I mean, playable is a strong word, but RNG can claw their way back into it with a good play. Sleep.
Yeah.
Will we see the bomb? Oh!
TP from
Look at
Juice,
that!
looking for the flank. Jiejie is like 1 HP. The burn! The burn! Oh my god, he barely survives, but survive he does. Jiejie desperately trying to get out of the play. Has the enhanced recall to get back to base. He's on a ward right now, so RNG know that this is happening. Swirl Seed comes on through. Jiejie still can't get back to base. He's just going to try and heal off of Raptors instead. It's the only option for him. But Geju now trying to push the wave in the mid lane. Jiejie got a little bit of health to work with. It's not a lot, but maybe with Honey Fruit, dodges the Swirl Seed just about. Dodges the rocket just about. Dodges the bomb just about. Still
holding on to red buff regen, Joe.
And he's got the Honey Fruit. Okay. Yeah. Elder started. There is a flank behind enemy lines here. As Iwandi hunting for an engage. This is just going to be Elder taken, and now RNG start the fight. This is going to be a disaster. But EDG, their health bar's low. Maybe RNG can do it against Elder anyway. Maybe they can find the miracle. But the lasers come down with the burns on top. The lasers with the dragon laser. It's the ultimate. Ultimate, I guess. As Jiejie finds a couple. Oh my days, it's been chaotic as Tangyuan finally found and will go down. EDG, they get the extra kills with the Elder. It's 2v2 on the map. This has been just ridiculous.
This will go down as a series of all time. Thank God we're not in... Imagine if we had some of the mechanics we have right now, but this was like Season 6. We'd be here till 60, 70 minutes in the game at this rate. 2 versus 2. AD versus jungle. Got AD in jungle versus mid and top. Sleep. Bomb just a little bit wide, but look at the damage.
Yeah.
I don't even think that was center. I think Cryin
No,
just
wasn't.
about managed to get out from the center part of that ult.
That would have been... Can you imagine if that actually one-shot him? It maybe could have with the sweet spot. I just can't believe RNG are starting the fight as Elder goes down. That's insane to me.
Yeah, just a little bit too far away from the play as it happens. You know, they're kind of relying on that flank, maybe not expecting EDG to have burst down the Elder Dragon so quickly. But burst it down they did. Tangyuan gets run down in the extended. And I mean, the flank looked nice, but again, you know, with Elder coming in halfway through that fight effectively, kind of just nullifies all of the hard work that Iwandi does to get in that position.
You know, I remember when Elder Dragon first came out, I think it was Captain Flowers was casted a game at LCS, and he talked about how Karthus with Elder Dragon is essentially like a 5-year-old's imagination of what's the coolest thing. It's a dragon that makes lasers, and then a sky laser sets off the dragon laser and blows everyone to smithereens. It's certainly something. Bomb just shy of Jiejie. He's just going to pop the Requiem juice. Will somehow just not take any damage from that. I think he had his X-Drink shield up there. I mean, 3 inhibs. Elder Dragon, surely EDG can end here, right?
Right?
I mean, Elder's timed out.
One would like to think, but that's the big concern, and they don't have Baron. Iwandi don't sell. Double supers on the top side, and EDG aren't really working with it, but they're slowly chunking this bot side Nexus tower down. Another set of supers.
Slowly is definitely the word. This is like pulling teeth. Come on, lads, you can do it. Just hit the Nexus towers. That's one down. Another bomb from Huanfeng. I swear, it doesn't have a cooldown at this point in the game. Juice taking a chunk. Iwandi goes for the quickness. Pathmaker to try and keep it away, and it doesn't really do much, just threatening. That's a route, that's the opportunity, that's Tangyuan down, Iwandi will follow. EDG have finally done it. They were the favorites today, but they did not look like it in the games. Wait, hang on, the Nexus isn't even down yet.
No.
Wait, hang on a second.
No,
surely
please.
not. EDG have to make it happen. Solokill and leave versus Juice, and Huanfeng desperately trying to keep his Nexus alive. Juice gets the no, Solokill does it. They barely squeak a win out. Supposed favorites and RNG take them the distance.
Who won, really? Is my final sentiment of this series.
Not my life expectancy, that's for sure.
EDG, they didn't make it easy for themselves. I mean, RNG also didn't make it easy for them, in all fairness. And it took a lot to close out that game and that series. Looks of, frankly...
They're just glad it's
not
over.
They're just glad it's Jiejie's face. Jiejie's
like,
happy it's over, but
home.
relief on everyone else's face. But still, kicking off the Rumble stage of a series win, that has to be... This is going to be a series I remember casting for a long time, Joan, for a lot of the wrong reasons.
Yeah. I mean, look, EDG versus RNG, full 3 games, Elder Dragons in every game. I feel like it somehow has lived up to the reputation of RNG versus EDG, but for the wrong reasons.